Well, for the second time this month, Indianapolis Metro Police are working to learn what led to a mass shooting, including children as young as 10.
That's right. It happened Sunday afternoon, just yesterday, in a neighborhood on the far east side of Indianapolis. Today, on this Monday, Ashton Hackman spent the day looking into the shooting and is sharing the very latest of what we're learning about these young victims.
Neighbors told us Sunday and tell us again today their neighborhood on the far east side was and is a safe and quiet place to live. Metro Police continuing their investigation Monday and haven't shared much new information.
Hornickel Drive was quiet Monday afternoon, a stark contrast from 24 hours earlier.
The shootout occurred at the location. A vehicle took off. I'm getting more information. It's a 15-year-old that was shot. EMS is en route.
Metro Police said officers found a person shot, but later learned they weren't the only victim.
3 of them are here at community. The vehicle just pulled up with all of them. So 3 confirmed right now. 1 is en route.
4 people would take themselves to an area hospital. Metro Police quickly learned they too were shot on Hornickel Drive. 5 people shot in all. Metro Police telling us the oldest victim was 19, the youngest was just 10 years old. One of those victims remains in critical condition.
4 individuals were inside of a vehicle and 1 individual was outside of a vehicle. An exchange of gunfire occurred. For some reason, some type of disturbance occurred. We don't know what the background of that is.
As investigators work to learn what led to the gunfire on the far east side, neighbors say the violence is out of place.
It was just upsetting because my grandkids, they're always out here playing, and it's like now I can't let them come outside and play because of all this.
Sunday's shooting marks the second mass shooting in Indianapolis in July alone. The last, on July 5th, killed 2 teens and injured 5 of their people near the Circle. Now, a far east side shooting injuring 5, once again showing gun violence can reach any neighborhood.
Metro Police are continuing their investigation. They are asking anyone who saw or knows anything about this shooting to give them or Crime Stoppers a call. On the far east side of Indianapolis, Ashton Hackman, 13 News.
And Metro Police now telling 13 News that they think they found all of the victims from the shooting. Right now, however, at 5 o'clock on Monday night, no arrests yet in the case.
Tonight, Cumberland police investigators are revealing what they believe led to a shooting which put a juvenile in the hospital as well as a man. The shooting happened late Saturday night at an apartment complex near Washington and North German Church Road. Investigators now believe an attempted robbery during a drug sale led to the gunfire, and they're now working to determine what roles several people may have had in the shooting. Well, the juvenile suffered a minor injury and is now out of the hospital. The man suffered serious injuries but is expected to recover. And we're following some breaking news tonight at 5. A mother is now facing charges accused in the death of her child during a fire in Rush County. The fire in Arlington happened at the beginning of June, killing 7-year-old David Bowers Jr. The Rush County Sheriff issued a statement this afternoon saying the mother, Kirsten Bowers, told them she fell asleep in bed with a cigarette, woke up to it on fire, and tried to get the kids out. Investigators say a timeline, which includes surveillance video, shows Bowers left the house and walked several blocks from it during the suspected time of the fire, leaving the 4 kids. She is now facing various charges of neglect of a dependent.
Weather impact alert because we are still in the middle of some really hot days, causing a weather impact alert for central Indiana. So what we're looking at here is the forecast peak heat index for Tuesday. I'm in the Weather Center with Angela, and those are some high numbers, Angela.
They are anywhere from 100 to maybe nearing 110. We have 94 degrees air temperature in the forecast for tomorrow. If we get there, hottest of the season.
Oh, really?
Something we're going to be keeping you updated on. We encourage you to continue to take precautions from the high heat and high humidity. Clouds helped a bit in some locations. Temperatures right now in the upper 80s and low 90s all across central Indiana. We have 89 at Morris Reservoir, 88 at the Country Club of Indy, and 90 degrees in Bainbridge right now. Factor in the humidity. Those feels like temperatures are still near or just above 100. Feels like 99 in Indianapolis, feels like 102 in Greencastle, feeling like 108 in Columbus. And as we look west, no relief in sight. eastern half of the country dealing with this dangerous heat, including those of us in central Indiana. The clouds earlier today were responsible for some rain, and with the heat of the afternoon over the last hour, you can see some spotty downpours popping up south of Bloomington into Brownstown, around Bedford, in between Seymour and North Vernon, and another one right over Greensburg. Also watching a few Logansport just north of you. Most of central Indiana is going to be dry this evening, but very hot and humid. We are still into the 80s through at least midnight.
A Texas man who admitted to stalking Caitlin Clark took a plea deal this afternoon with a 2.5-year jail sentence.
Rich Nye was actually in the courtroom for what is somewhat of a bizarre hearing where the judge said Michael Lewis nearly talked himself out of the plea deal. And Rich, there was some contentious exchange and back and forth at times today.
Definitely between the judge and the defendant. Michael Lewis pleaded guilty to stalking and harassment, but then was adamant that he never threatened Caitlin Clark. Lewis tagged Clark in some 800 messages on the social media X. The prosecution described the messages as vulgar, obscene, and threatening. In January, he traveled from Texas to Indianapolis and started hanging out around places where he might see Clark. Police confronted him at his downtown hotel room, warned him to stop, but the messages continued, and Lewis was arrested.
I never followed her on foot. I never followed her in her car. I never hid out hoping to take a picture. I never got an autograph. I've never seen her in public. I want her to be happy. I want her to be successful. I want her to be safe.
He just said he never threatened her.
The prosecution charged
and she
me.
never read them, which is not true. Part of what the plea says is that it actually caused her to feel terrorized, frightened, intimidated, threatened.
Judge Angela Dow Davis accepted the plea deal, but was interrupting Lewis multiple times during his statement of allocution. Lewis blamed Clark's social media team for not blocking his messages.
No matter how bizarre my posts were, I could never get blocked. Even after everyone knew about the posts on January 9th, her social media team never blocked.
I will recommend that you get some mental health treatment because you don't get it. See you back here.
Lewis will likely serve the remainder of his sentence in the Marion County Adult Detention Center. That's where he has been since his arrest. Lewis was living out of his vehicle when he came to Indianapolis. The Fever had no comment on the sentence, but the prosecution says Caitlin Clark was aware and approved of this plea deal. And as part of the sentence, Lewis has to stay away from Gainbridge Fieldhouse, Hinkle Fieldhouse, any Indiana Fever events, and any Pacer sports and entertainment events. Again, he has about another year or so to serve on this 2.5-year jail sentence.
All right. Thanks for that back and forth from the courtroom today. Helps give us more perspective of what really happened there, Rich. Thank you so much.
Tonight, the Marion County coroner is identifying a 20-year-old man killed in a shooting on the south side of Indianapolis. Eddie Hernandez Rivera died in the shooting near US 31 and East Stop 11 Road. That's actually where Metro Police found him in critical condition in a car last Friday morning. Police have not announced any arrests in this case. However, they previously told us they were looking for someone reported as suspicious near the scene of the shooting last week.
Tonight, we're learning more about that key moment that a Marion police officer shot at a suspect. State police now telling 13 News that suspect got away.
It happened over the weekend in the middle of a neighborhood. Samantha Johnson is looking into the investigation as the search for the suspect continues.
Marion police got the call Sunday morning just after 10 o'clock to a neighborhood just minutes from the police department. I talked to people who live there. They tell me it sounded like a shootout right outside their home.
It's not fun to deal with, I'll be honest. A couple inches to the right, you can hit my window, you can hit to the living room, and you can hit God knows what inside the house.
According to state police, Marion police say they saw the passenger of a white SUV shooting at a pedestrian near this intersection. Investigators say an officer then shot at the suspect, who they say got away. Neighbors waking up that morning to gunshots and bullet holes in their homes.
And as we're looking out the window, I spotted the hole in the window. and realizing, oh my gosh, one of those bullets came through our house.
It passed right through the kitchen and into a cabinet where a woman says her husband had been doing dishes just 30 minutes earlier.
So that is very frightening. We're grateful that it didn't turn out that way.
That is not only bad financial, but it's bad, scary mentally. Because like, what happens when I go to sleep at night, you know?
Adam Baird says his house was not hit, but he was home when that shooting happened, and he says he's thankful it wasn't any worse.
It's still nerve-wracking to have to deal with that, like, so close to home, you know?
We are grateful that no one was hurt and nothing is damaged beyond repair, and things could be worse, but we do wish our neighborhood was safer.
State police tell me the officer who fired the gun is on administrative duty, which is standard protocol. The investigation into what happened is still ongoing. In Marion, Samantha Johnson, 13 News.
Tonight, one person is in the hospital after a crash into the Starbucks in Lebanon. So look at these pictures. Lebanon firefighters posted this picture online of the SUV after it crashed through the coffee shop's windows and into the store. The driver told investigators there was just some sort of mechanical issue causing the crash. The person who was inside the store is expected to recover. The SUV driver was not hurt.